Hello everyone. I wanted to offer another video. This has been a pretty rough week for me, actually a month. um, we had the publication come out from Dzongtsar Khyentse Rinpoche called Poison is Medicine. And I have to tell you, I read it right away and I was like physically ill for about 3 days after reading it. And I wanted to offer a little bit of an opinion piece about the breadth of what I think is called spiritual cyberbullying. And I'm seeing it and feeling it from all different ends of the spectrum right now. And I wanted to record a piece that might offer an alternative way of being. So first and foremost, as we all are well aware of, it's been hard on every single one of us. The exposures of the Dharma Me Too movement, communities hemorrhaging, people coming out as having been sexually assaulted, power and control, totalitarian, command, people feeling owned. It's pretty bad. And when I laugh, I know I've just been criticized because of my laugh. It's not that I don't take things seriously. I kind of laugh in disbelief at the breadth of how much has come forth in the past couple of years. As you guys all know, about 10 years ago, I started to feel that there was something really, really wrong in my Buddhist community, and was warning people. I'm like, things are going to fall, and no one wanted to listen. I talked about that in one of my previous videos. And likewise, I feel that we're at a crossroads right now where because of the exposures of Me Too and the misconduct that has been hidden for thousands of years, all that's coming forth right now, and it's like poison coming out. And I think all of us are in pain. And a lot of my Dharma friends, people have a lot of different views and a lot of different feelings and a lot of different experiences. And one thing I wanted to say is that first and foremost, I think it is important to have freedom of speech, transparency, a platform to have civil discussions, to try to parse out the things that happen to us, to co-process together, and to find a way forward. That way forward for many of us very well might be that we never have any contact with practice again or the Dharma, and to see images of Rinpoches and Dharma quotes when what's associated with that is pain. I totally respect if people want to jump ship and never come back again. That's, if you've had spiritual betrayal, religious trauma syndrome, it's very real. And I think if people want nothing to do with this ever again, I respect that and honor that. For me, my practice has actually been, once again, a source of solace and refuge and strength for me to be able to get through all this, over what we've been going through for 5 years. So I have no intention ever of stopping practicing. That doesn't make me an insider, a cultist, or cult complicit. Everyone knows I've been to some of the big names, the authorities, the governments. My mom used to work for the UN to try to stop the harm, and I still continue to try to stop the harm. So back to Dzongtsar Khyentse, I thought that was awful, just in sum. I don't mean to insult him. I'd like to thank him and people like Khenchen Namtrol for trying to help and to come forth with the exposures of Sogyal Rinpoche and the Sakyong. And, they want to preserve their tradition. They believe that anything that speaks unfavorably of their tradition is going to cause a cascading of the fall of the Dharma. So they're always going to speak in a way that's super orthodox and wants to protect the integrity. And so Dzongtsar was very much speaking from the orthodox view of we cannot question, we can't change Vajrayana, we can't edit the teachings and make it comfortable, we can't alter it just to make it palatable by the neoliberals. So it has to be just this way. And we're supposed to understand what we're getting into when we take our tantric vows. We're supposed to have examined a teacher for 12 years prior to taking an empowerment. I think that's all hogwash. One of my friends came to me and said, I could have examined in Shambhala for 12 years and watched the teacher come in and come out and never have been privy to anything behind the scenes. So I felt that to say if a teacher was corrupt or had issues, that it's the student's fault is, wholly victim blaming. And to kind of lock down and say, it's our way or the highway, you either are ready for the dangers and warnings of Vajrayana or not, shit or get off the pot, like leave, it's our way or the highway, is a very, very closed system of doctrine and dialogue. I don't believe that that's what the Buddha ever intended. He wanted us to go deep, become introspective, and even, you could say that that quietude was from the first turning, and we have this third turning, and we have a whole different set of rules. I don't believe that. If there was any truth to what happened at the third turning, I don't believe that the Buddha imparted to King Indrabhuti a sense of rules, regulations, fears, and tantric vows, dangers, all this scary stuff. I believe that men in power do that to maintain control and use it as a social control mechanism. So I have a lot of problems with a lot of the basic tenets of Vajrayana Buddhism, and I believe that the next generation is just not gonna buy it. So it either changes or dies. So I would like to say to Dzongsar, we have to be open to critical thinking, to changing. And, if the Dharma is inherently pure and indestructible, in and of itself, it doesn't have a position per se, then it certainly should be able to become malleable and use different forms to teach. I think it's pretty clear that the next generation of Tibetans, they're not super interested in upholding the tradition. And for sure, the next generation, like my daughter, she just has no interest in this stuff. So it's like, if we don't make some changes, it's gone. It's gonna die, I think, within one generation. These exposures were really serious and really significant. The abuse is still happening amongst sanghas and in the monasteries, and it's going to be a long-term uphill battle to overcome that. So I feel that in terms of cyberbullying, we get it from the Rinpoches, you Westerners are idiots, you're stupid, you're, activists, you aren't spiritually sophisticated enough to understand how holy we are. I, again, don't buy that either. I think we're all in this together, and we all have, wisdom and stain, and we have to call out harm and abuse where it is. We cannot hide it. There's no such thing as secret conduct and having abuse be in the corridors and be marginalized and be not talked about. All this stuff needs to be talked about, and we have to create healthy community. If not, everything that we've built is going to fall. And that's fine. I mean, some people are more than happy to see all of Vajrayana burned down. They think it's a dated culture. It's predicated on command and control, unhealthy feudal tenets. Even the Dalai Lama himself is saying it's time for a full-on revolution. Other teachers are saying, no, we're doubling down. Vajrayana vows are this way, we own you, and you're just obviously not ready. So I would suggest the prior to follow the Dalai Lama and to have this revolution, and I am honored and privileged to be part of that. But with that, I also think about Martin Luther King, hatred can't drive out hatred, only love can. And I think I don't want to indicate to anybody that I'm a cultist or cult complicit, deluded, or just infused with, unquestioning doctrine. I think all of this stuff needs to be looked at, re-examined on our own, and a lot of it needs to be changed. How how that is supposed to happen is a very long question, but it's so important that all of us who've been hurt don't cyberbully each other and tell each other how to think. I mean, there's a lot of different feelings out there. First and foremost, you have people who have never had any harm. Maybe they're newcomers, or they just never had any connection to Sogyal Rinpoche or Shambhala, and they don't even know what we're talking about. And those people might find great solace in their practice. There's people who have seen the abuse and the harm and the control and really don't want that to happen anymore, but still may have had a good experience with the teacher or their practice, but want things to be cleaned up. And then there's other people that have been so hurt and so betrayed that it just can't be repaired. And their form of healing is to not see this all the time. And I think it's important for us to respect that there's different ways of being, different feelings and different experiences. There's also different teachers. Some teachers, have problems with alcohol, as we talked about before. Some are exceedingly kind. I think it's like in Christianity, not everyone's Jim and Tammy Baker. It's like, we want to judge each teacher on the merit of their own behavior and conduct, how they treat their students. Some are just yogis and just meditate, and others are running these big shows where people have to do whatever they say and they feel trapped. So I feel that in order to have this movement that the Dalai Lama is asking for, it can't be predicated on hatred. And I'm not trying to tone police. I've been hurt. I've been in therapy. We talked about I've had to seek out cult counseling through Steve Hassan and Iksa, and journaling, talking about it like every day. It's been hard for me, really painful. And being a moderate, it's like the people who are the Samaya keepers and the Orthodox think I'm a demon, and then the people that are identify as survivors think I'm not doing enough or saying enough, or I'm being an enabler. So my particular perspective is to first and foremost be able to have open, civil, and transparent dialogue. How do we all feel? And not yell and scream and swear at people who might still like to practice or might have had a positive teacher, or don't call them demons if they want to leave and they've had really painful experiences. I think first and foremost, we need civility and respect in order to make change. And I think we need to honor how much pain all of us are in, and I think all of us are in pain. All of us who've been exposed to a teacher who's been harmful or who's been exposed and taken down. I mean, that is really, really difficult to accommodate and to try to parse out. Just because some people have left and they feel strong in their defensiveness and their exit, I don't think that those people should yell and scream and swear at the people that maybe aren't quite there yet. I think a dialogue which is based on honoring the pain and civility would be in order. And just like when I worked in politics, or I still work in politics, if you have the time to have two-way conversations, especially if it's more like face-to-face rather than these sort of shooting off of angry emails and texts and secret messages, and that I think we actually could find that we could support each other, and that we actually have a lot in common. You look closely and it looks like we're all saying the same thing. We're not stupid. We're not idiots. We're not blind cultists. No one wants a teacher that's drunk and exploiting people. I wanted to offer one of the things that Steve Hassan said to me. He said, if you're going to be one of these people that is, who's basically left the tradition, at least the formal, and, someone who's like an iconoclast, be careful. Because when you just mouth off and you say, hey, I think you guys are brainwashed and you're in a cult and you feel trapped, you have no idea what someone's faith means to them. It could be the only thing that's keeping them alive. And I don't really want to swear at that person and degrade them, because who knows, you might cause someone to not want to live anymore. So he said, be really gentle. And Sogni Rinpoche said that to me too. I told him that I was going to be speaking out against the child abuse and the harm and the command and control model. And he said, okay, you can, but I want you to be really gentle. And so I don't know, it hurts, because it's like you have Zongsar on the one hand. I read his book and I felt spiritually traumatized. I felt bullied and psychologically berated by that book. A huge amount of victim blaming. Westerners are too stupid. We're not ready. If we don't like it, we should leave. If we had a teacher that's corrupt, well, Vajra hell for you, unless you do your mantra. I remember, saying that we were greedy for the Vajrayana teachings and we couldn't wait to have an empowerment. I don't really need to hear from him or anyone more harm and why it's my fault, how I was complicit. What I need to hear is people who've been hurt and people who want to heal. Swearing at everyone, doubling down, which is a lot of the teachers' modus operandi right now, backstabbing each other. I mean, we're not schoolyard bullies. We can do better. We're civil people who are intelligent, who have come upon a culture that has a lot of problems. It has a lot of covert abuse that we were not all aware of. And I believe we have to find a way through solidarity, transparency, and civility to move forward. And I would like to do that with everyone in whatever way people are feeling or capable of doing. I feel that I don't want someone to yell and scream at me or call me names if I found that my sitting practice is helpful. I mean, I'm allowed to sit or do yoga. It doesn't mean I need to be called an insider or a cultist, and that also hurts. So it's like I get hurt by the Bible thumpers and the Orthodox people who double down and say I'm a Samaya break or going to hell. And I also get hurt by the people who, like me, identify as a survivor, that I still value one or two of my teachers, and I'm acting in concordance with the Dalai Lama for change, that I'm somehow a cultist, complicit, and I'm deluded. So my request, my humble request of everyone is to, not be cruel and vile and cyberbully each other. A lot of shit's gone down over a lot of years, way before I even ever became a Buddhist. Hundreds, thousands of years. So it's time for change, and it's time for the revolution that the Dalai Lama is asking for. And I'm really happy to be part of that. And I invite people to do that in a way that doesn't create more harm, doesn't hurt the hearts of others. If we're all mad that we've been hurt and betrayed and taken advantage of, we don't want to hurt, betray, and take advantage of each other as part of the healing process. And just because we identify as survivors doesn't give us, a free pass to be as vile as we want to and hurt others and just call them all kinds of names, defame them. All these lawsuits are starting now. I mean, it's like, enough is enough. Shit happened. It was awful. A lot of people were hurt, and I believe in a new day forward. I'd like to see the Dharma change its outer vehicle, and a lot of the lamas remove their command and control model and come down, way down. And there are some teachers that are doing that, like Anup Tupten. He doesn't sit on a throne. From what I understand, you're not supposed to call him Rinpoche, and he can't stand prostrations, but there are some techniques from his training that he can impart to us, and those techniques, in my opinion, are still really helpful and valuable to me. And I would like the respect to be able to find value in those without being called names, and I don't want to call anyone names. I don't want hurt to happen anymore. I would like to invite healing, And that's all I have to say. And thank you so much for listening again.